Today we're going to be talking about Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. This was the first audiobook that I've ever listened to, and I really enjoyed it. This review doesn't have any spoilers in it, so no worries if you haven't read it yet. So we follow a female chemist in the 1960s, and as you can imagine, that was not a common thing for women to do in that era, and I feel like this story really gives a good perspective on the female struggles in the 60s. So, being a female that didn't grow up in that time period, it was very interesting and sad and frustrating to learn about and hear about the kinds of things that women experienced. I know this is a work of fiction, but the struggles are still real. I absolutely love the main female character. I know she's very clinical and to the point, and she is very strange to most people, but I really liked her character. Also, the dog in this story, I love that he's named 630, but I love that we get to hear from his perspective. I just think that's very unique. And also, because I listened to this as an audiobook, I just wanted to comment that the narration I think was perfect. The narrator did a very good job at capturing the very clinical and matter of factness of Elizabeth Zott. It was absolutely perfect for who the character is and what this story represents. I don't want to really say much about this because I don't want to spoil anything, but I wish that I could watch Supper at Six. That's all I'm going to say. When you read this book, you'll find out what I'm talking about. It seems like a really good show. I do also want to mention that I watched the show first. So I knew overall what was coming, but I don't think that negatively affected how I listened to the story, how I perceived it. There were obviously some differences which I expected, but it didn't negatively impact how I enjoyed the story. So I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I wanted to give it 5, but for some reason I just couldn't. There are some really big surprises in this book, and I feel like if I didn't know that they were coming, then it would have been more impactful and maybe I would have given 5 stars. But I really recommend that you read this if you have not already. Happy reading!